used to talking about these impacts coming in the lifetimes of our children and grandchildren. Now we know that it's us. And since that time, the physical realities have accelerated, especially the melting of the Arctic, Greenland, and Antarctica. Experts were shocked at the loss of Arctic sea ice in the summer of 2007. In fact, some say that the Arctic sea ice appears to be shrinking 100 years ahead of schedule. According to Dr. James Hansen of NASA, the reason so much of the Arctic ice went suddenly is that it is hitting a tipping point that we have been warning about for the last few years. Now many scientists think that Arctic sea ice will be gone in the summer by 2010. So many other tipping points are approaching too, and raising the specter of even worse things like melting of the permafrost, which could cause catastrophic, drastic climate change. These physical realities are now happening so much faster than anyone predicted. We know that if we don't act quickly and drastically, we would produce a planet without Arctic sea ice, a catastrophic sea level rise of around 75 feet, and a super drought in the American West, Southern Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Africa. These tipping points make climate change fundamentally different from other environmental problems. We can feel successful when we make our water a little cleaner or build another thread trail. But these tipping points mean that there's a real danger that the climate system will run out of control and that the worst impacts will become unavoidable. This news is depressing, but we cannot shield ourselves from it. We must listen to the scientists and face the fact that we're already perilously close to runaway warming. It is only by being brutally honest that we will have the courage to propose and demand solutions that will actually solve the problem. We cannot let fear of being labeled unreasonable or alarmist make us soft pedal these hard truths. We're already in a dangerous situation and we don't have time for false solutions. Slightly more efficient coal plants are one of the false solutions. We don't have time for that. Dr. James Hansen so ago and said, Mr. Rogers, your suggestion that new, more efficient coal-fired power plants, which do not capture CO2, can be part of a solution, ignores the basic facts and urgency of terminating coal emissions. He went on to say coal-fired power plants built now without CO2 sequestration will soon have to be shut down. They are a terrible, foreseeable waste of money. And it's our money that's at risk. And of course, Mr. Rogers knows that. Duke has nothing to lose, though, because we, the customers, bear all the risk of loss. We'll pay for Cliffside, even if it's bulldozed. We must demand that Duke not waste our money on a coal plant that will soon have to be mothballed. We must demand that our politicians put the science first, rather than focusing on what is politically possible, which is to say what is economically acceptable to corporations like Duke Energy that have captured our government. We must demand solutions that will actually solve the problem, like massive, fair efficiency initiatives, not like Duke's proposed Save-A-Watt program, which would charge customers for phantom power plants. If that program gets pushed through, we're about to pay for phantom coal plants, phantom employees, and phantom coal. We can't let that happen either. That bogus solution is not only unfair to customers, but it will also be utterly ineffective to promote the kinds of deep reductions we need. We must demand that Duke and other utilities make an abrupt shift to renewable energy technologies. Yes, these technologies will initially cost more than coal, although the cost of coal is skyrocketing. But is coal really cheap if it's creating an uninhabitable planet? Have we forgotten that the economy is a wholly owned subsidiary of the environment? We taxpayers and our children and grandchildren will pay the huge federal disaster relief amounts for drought-induced agricultural losses, flooded coastal counties, hurricane damage, and that doesn't even take into account the huge human suffering all these disasters will bring. Rejecting coal for efficiency and renewables would have huge benefits beyond addressing climate change for a 2.40 to 30 permanent jobs. That's $80 million to $120 million per job. Imagine how many young people, 2.4 billion, could employ installing solar hot water on our homes, retrofitting low-income housing for energy efficiency. Instead of 20 jobs in a coal plant, let's create thousands of good green jobs that can't be sent to China. Creating thousands of green jobs will help solve another huge problem in our country, the widening gap between the rich and the poor. These and many other solutions exist now. They're not decades away, like Mr. Rogers says. The failure to move energy along sustainable paths is not a failure of technological or economic capacity, but of political and social will. So it's up to us to exercise our political and social will, and thank you for being here today to do that. Please be sure before you leave to sign the postcard, sign the petition, and recruit others to do so. We must demand a sharp turn away from business as usual. To Mr. Rogers, we must say, no more coal plants. No overreaching, inadequate efficiency programs. And to our representatives in Washington and Raleigh, and to the members of the North Carolina Utilities Commission, we say, no political compromises on half-baked solutions that won't solve the problem, just to protect corporate profits. After 2 years of working full-time on climate change issues and watching things get worse instead of better, I'm tempted to get discouraged or even depressed. But we must not be overwhelmed by the size and urgency of the task. We already have many answers. More answers can and must be found. And we must all do our part and bravely enlist others to do the same. A friend who's working for clean energy out west recently sent me words of encouragement from the Talmud that I'd like to end on. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not free to abandon it.